In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Greetings. How are you, Chadwick?
Doing good, Frank. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I had a nice, lovely weekend. A nice long Labor Day celebratory weekend. How about you?
No, never stop celebrating, my man.
Every day is Labor Day for you.
That's right.
That's it. Oh boy.
Hmm.
Well, um, did you do any car things?
I did not this weekend per se, but this past week I got some car stuff done on Labor Day. Well, actually I did get a little garage time on Saturday, so
Got
that
it.
was car adjacent. How about you, man? Any
A little bit, a little
Okay.
bit. I don't want to bury the lead on
Hmm.
the PCP, but I did get an opportunity, and I sent you a photo of a lovely piece of kit that I saw available at the local AutoZone. I needed a little spray can of just trim black,
Mm-hmm.
nothing special. So I went to the local AutoZone and just absolutely blown away by the quality selection, quote unquote, of various, innumerous, just terrible accessories of the automotive world, from everything that you can imagine, everything that shimmers and glitters and chromes and glows and buzzes and whirs and all the things that you can tack onto your car. Some of them allegedly functional, some of them
Ooh.
purely decorative. And just it kind of it got me wondering, like, how have we strayed so far from the automotive god's light? You know what I mean? Where we're like,
Ah,
we're like half, nearly half
I'm
of
on,
the local
dude.
parts place is just garbage
Junk.
like that.
I'm honestly surprised because that started happening. That was definitely a byproduct of the Fast and the Furious age. In the early 2000s is when we started seeing like that AutoZone kind of like chrome stuff you could put all over your car, all
Mhm.
those kind of ridiculous things. And, it used to be everywhere, like circa like, especially like 2008 to 2010, everybody had that
Yeah,
going on. Every lowered Civic with a fart can. Give it props, dude. It's got some legs and it's lasted on them. So
it knows how to use them. Yeah.
respect.
Um, like, I just imagine who's a tastemaker in that, like, in that realm. Like, who is, like, in the automotive accessory pantheon, like, who is the god of that, like, who's the biggest, heaviest hitter in that space? And it's just like the tastemaker, and does the designs of the stick-on plastic chrome vents, and
Mm.
on and on and on, and all the things that they offer. And that's just the decorative stuff. I'm not even talking about the magnet that goes around your fuel line to triple your fuel economy, or any of that stuff. um
Don't say it
do you
too
have
loud.
any?
The government might be listening.
Well, that is true. Do you
This
have
one
any?
trick will double your fuel economy.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's what is it? EPA doesn't want you to know.
Don't tell
Um,
President Biden.
yeah, Biden hates this one weird trick. Biden, um, man, like, but like, what do you have any? What are your favorite ones of those to hate on? Right?
Oh boy, this is a good one.
Of
And
any of that stuff? Yeah,
boy, I approached this episode as like a whole like a car scene in a bubble kind of approach, like just taking a look at different sections of it because like
yeah.
we did do a rant-isode, and this is kind of like an addendum to that, but even more focused on funny accessories and stuff. But like there's some like crappy things in the car scene I don't think we talked about, or maybe we mentioned it. Like I love that the car scene's constantly changing, but kind of remains the same, right? Like in our
Right.
lives, we've seen like dramatic shifts in what's cool, what's like the standard bearer of what everybody's chasing. But it's a lot of things for a lot of people, and I kind of celebrate that too. I think that's cool that you can get what you want out of being into cars. And I do like that. I do appreciate that. But there's some aspects that are unforgivable. And I think you're right with the add-on stuff. One big thing I wanted to shout out for real is like sideshows. I think they're the
Sure.
absolute crux of the anything automotive. I think it's absolutely miserable. Anybody that's into that stuff, I'm sorry for you. I actually don't have any sympathy
Sure.
for you. I think that's one of the biggest like negative things, and we're going to see probably laws and stuff coming out of that about because it impacts like car gatherings, car meets, but just
Sure.
like at its root, it's just horrible. And most of those people buy into half of this stuff, like cutting the exhaust off your new, Scat Pack, or like taking a leased car out and doing donuts and hitting pedestrians with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bad
Just
choices
like,
all around.
yeah, like getting hammered drunk to drive to the sideshow. Would you dare say the sideshow is the truck nuts of the automotive event space world,
The
where they're
gathering
just,
of the truck nuttalos.
yes, exactly. And yeah, it's, I don't know. There's a lot of things that you can make this an analog for lots and lots and lots of other things where the bad apple spoils the bunch kind of thing. And
Sure.
so, like, whether they're like driving rallies with some like safe but spirited driving on back roads where nobody is a generally safe, wholesome thing to do. And people that aren't really educated in, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, they just don't really, they haven't been exposed to the difference between an event like that, and they hear about something like that, and they assume that what they picture in their head is a sideshow or some like sketchy street race, situation. Yeah, it sucks. It's a black eye on everything, and it I don't know. It's why we can't have nice things. That and the
Yeah.
Kia boys, but that's that's a horse of a different color.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's frustrating. It's like, why I'm sure motorcycle, true dyed-in-the-wool motorcycle fans probably can't stand the dudes that are just like doing wheelies on sidewalks without helmets on dirt bikes and packs, and the ATV guys that roll up and down. Not so much here on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, that's a thing, and they just stop. Or like the clowns that, yeah, they'll stop traffic on the Bay Bridge and just whip donuts, and it's like tight, like way to make all the rest of us look like idiots. Just, I don't know.
So cool. And like honestly too, and like some of the stuff we're gonna make light up too. Like I'm not big on like, I think the car culture now is like more divisive than ever too. It's like people really, or maybe not.
I don't know.
Bad.
I'd argue with you on that one.
I don't know. It's kind of close, man. Like the people hating on other cars, that's still a thing, man. I think that's still a big part of it, right? Like just like you don't like them, you don't like that type of modification, or you don't like that type of vehicle. I think there's still a prevalence of that in a lot of circles. I think that's still alive and well, unfortunately.
I think it is less though, because I think I think
I don't know.
for a
Social
long
media
time, right?
I'm talking like I'm talking
domestics versus imports, and like I think a lot of that has gone away. There's still some people that are like that, but I think it's, having a modified Honda is it used to be almost a meme in like the 90s, where you had like sport compact car, and then like, and people who like subscribed to that magazine, and everyone else kind of hated it. And then that changed at some point, right? And whether that was like a byproduct of Fast and the Furious and Gran Turismo and things like that, I don't know. And if anything, like Dodge Charger owner has taken that has taken that mantle of like the locally hated sort of thing. I don't know. I feel like it's not. Maybe I'm just older, and like my vision has gotten rosier. But I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking older than you
divisive.
though, my friend. I'm predating the internet age. I don't think it, like right now
That
it's
existed?
everything's so quick. Yeah, let me tell you.
Get off my lawn.
Sit on Uncle Chadwick's lap and let me take you back, Frank. But no, like
no, not again.
let me dim the lights. But seriously though, I think before that, now it's so quick, right? Like we're so quick. There's so much more. Everything's like TikTok and instant, social media reactions to stuff. So I think, it's stuff like that. And what sucks, like you just said, dude, is like I get behind a modern Hemi. I think they're great. I had the Magnum SRT8. I probably don't look like your stereotypical Magnum SRT8 buyer if you know what kind of vehicles I'm into, the kind of restorations and work I do. But I fucking love that car. That car was special to me. It was a fast ass wagon with a Hemi. But there are people that ruin that. It's like the Mustang. The Mustang right now is like one of the best, like all around affordable sports cars you can get. Good at power output, good handling dynamics, a great price point, and there's just too many pedestrians getting hit, so it looks shitty if you're in a
Right.
I don't know. I think that's like you were saying, it takes like one bad apple to kind of sour the entire crop, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to on this episode. I just don't want to like bag on any specific type of car, because the cars inherently in a vacuum are fine unless it's like a PT Cruiser. But
with truck nuts,
only if it's a Woody.
that would actually true. If you had a Woody PT Cruiser with some like the biggest like triple XL truck nuts that you can get like in chrome, and they're just like skipping off the ground behind it.
Oh, dude,
that might like slightly improve.
How about this,
It's about
Frank?
the only way that you can improve something with truck nuts.
A purple Chrysler PT Cruiser convertible GT with the turbo, and purple and Woody truck nuts hanging down.
Ooh, interesting. Or you just hand carved from actual like acacia wood, like really nice.
Hand carve someone's nuts out, man. It's like, kind of like a predator.
It puts the lotion on its skin. Yeah, right. Predator, the trophy from its past conquests.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's
Jeffrey Dahmer's. Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer's like chariot of choice. Yeah, it's funny because like that's something to rant against. You know what's one thing I wanna rant against, and this might be something that like your various grandmas and grandpas that own a PT Cruiser might fall for purchasing. Back to I think I might keep coming back to the purchasing.
Yeah, let's do accessories. I'm sorry, I just wanted to get some.
No, that's good. It's good. I'm going to bring us back with. Have you seen the there's various different ways, and it's all pure snake oil, which is not a new thing for the automotive accessory world.
No.
The EMP pulse protection gadgets that are out there.
What the fuck?
Have you not seen those?
No.
Dude.
How does that?
Dude, they clearly don't work. Like not even remotely conceptually. Let alone the fact that you effectively will never need to protect your motor vehicle from an EMP pulse. That aside, some of them are like, and some of them are expensive. It's like $400 to basically like get a little box that you just like wire to your like battery. You just like wing nut like accessory wires onto your terminal leads, and then it just like double side tapes to your like inner fender well or like apron, and you're just like, now I'm protected against the deep state or whatever. Or they have cheaper ones that are just like you plug into it just sits in your OBD2 port. You just like leave it plugged in, or which is probably good for your car, I think. Or like cigarette lighter, whatever. But like straight up, they sell thousands of these, and like you can find them on Amazon, and people review them. Like, I've never felt safer and more protected for like my family vehicle in case like the Zionist attack or some like made up boogeyman that they just, I don't know. It's a thing, and your I don't know, your friends' grandparents are probably paying money for these things, and it's completely frustrating.
It sounds like someone doesn't have a proper fear of atmospheric nuclear weapons being used.
just like on the daily, and it's like gonna like, oh no, my Corolla Cross, won't start now because of, I don't know, thermonuclear warfare in the skies above. Like
that's why you drive an old piece of shit where you don't have to rely on electronics, right?
I mean, that's how it works in like, I feel like every futuristic semi post-apocalyptic movie, there's like the machines are taking over, and there's like the bold future, and like it takes a hero with like some clapped out like not robot takeoverable old analog machine to like save the day, so yeah, I think that's the proper approach. Or you get taken for a ride by putting an EMP shield snake oil box in your car.
Yeah, dude, speaking of snake oil, though, I think like actual automotive snake oil, liquids you do pour into your vehicle, there's still plenty of them out there. But I think the transparency and the research levels especially because of folks actually doing reviews, trying to document their actual what they're
Right.
seeing as evidence. I think that has gotten a lot better because back in the day, some of them still write stupid shit like engine tune-up in a bottle. It's like,
Exactly.
really? I think I'm gonna do my spark plugs. That's awesome. But it's just cool, like, because now people are like independent people are testing these items and putting their results on the internet for all to see. And I think that's fantastic. I think in that direction we move forward with snake oil, but it's still out there. I'm glad you brought some snake oil up. But that's a funny thing. That reminded me, I thought for sure, and you're probably going to talk about this, the turbonator and all those kind of things.
The tornado?
You put in your intake and it spins and it's like, holy shit, this thing's going to launch. God, this stuff is crazy, man. I think you can still buy that. Or like a chip.
You can.
It's like the chips you can solder into like random wires and it ups your fuel economy. I'm like, oh Lord.
Yeah, there's so many of those. I mean, how many can we just rattle off the top of our heads real quick? So we talked about the EMP pulse thing, which is just pure madness for several reasons, right?
Love
like
it.
I understand I don't really know how cars work. And so but this bill of goods sounds mildly plausible, and who doesn't want better fuel economy, right? Keep a couple of dollars in your pocket every week when you fill up at the tank, right? Cool.
Bonus. Yeah.
But being afraid of an EMP, like an EMP pulse, is so bananas to me. Like it's like I don't know. But like what other besides that? So yeah, you said like the Turbinator or the Tornado. There's a million different versions of the same thing. You have what is it? That the thing I mentioned, that like the magnetic filter thing that you put on your fuel line, and it like remolecularizes or the fuel. And then I think there's another one too where it's a similar deal, but it's supposed to like add oxygen somehow to the fuel.
Love it.
Which
That's
is a
good
thing,
for it.
I guess,
good for
right?
It, yeah. There's
And
electric superchargers. You ever seen those bad boys?
I have. I've heard those actually kind of work though.
There's always a
well, I think there's both. Yeah, I think there's like ones that do work, and then there's the one where it's like, yeah, you're putting basically just an obstruction in your intake right behind your airbox. There's I know there's one. What's the cigarette? There's like one you plug in your cigarette lighter, and it's supposed to filter it's like a power filter, and it's supposed to like filter the energy in the car so it gets rid of like feedback loops. It just uses a bunch of buzzwords, and it's supposed to like give you 10% better fuel economy. I mean, it's endless.
Is that like a modern dream catcher instead of hanging an old dream catcher
sort of
by your rearview mirror?
You have to have dreams first to even have a dream catcher, though. Which
I think they're trying to catch them.
Yeah, dreams, they keep escaping me.
I'm here to crush them.
Exactly, dream crusher. The yeah, it's just how many of those? Did I miss any? There's got to be more out there, right?
Oh, there's a million, dude. There's a million. Yeah.
Ooh. You know what I just thought about? You ever see like the triple blade wipers that you can put on? It's just like this huge block. It actually just like obstructs your view. So like it's way it's not good.
Good times.
Yeah. And so the funny thing, real quick, just to circle back on the Tornado, which for the uninitiated, the Tornado or the Turbonator or whatever, it's basically like a stamped steel, so it will rust. Think like a turbine, right? Like it's just got like some fins in it at like whatever 15-degree angles, and there's maybe 8 of them in a circle, and you pop it into just behind your air box or somewhere in your intake tract. You kind of just stuff it in there unceremoniously and then stick everything back together, and it's supposed to spin the air like a tornado, which then it makes things go faster. And they show like somebody like pouring out an empty 2-liter bottle of soda, it's all clogged up, and then they spin it and it goes tornado like, and it goes faster, and that's your car will go faster, and on and on and on. So I've got a friend of mine who shall remain nameless for his protection. Who, when we were in high school, right? This is like junior year of high school. He had a '94 Camaro, I believe it was, in like that emerald green color with a or more like a eucalyptus green. I don't know, green, with a cloth interior, 6-cylinder with a 3.4 liter manual. and he put Flowmaster exhaust on it and a tornado. And we would get in, we'd go to house parties or whatever, and we'd have soda pops because we were law-abiding children. And over several soda pops in bottles, we would always get into arguments where he swore up and down, like, it makes a difference, I can feel the power, like it'd be false advertising, they can't just say that it does something. And it was like, you don't understand, like, if it was that simple, like every OEM would have this already. Do you know how absolutely insane huge amounts of money they spend to get like a 1% increase in fuel economy? If you can get like a 20% increase by putting this $40 stamp steel thing, like, it doesn't work. And we would just get in arguments back and forth. He since has seen the light now that maybe we're drinking fewer sodas nowadays, but like
I was really hoping you were going to tell me a story of how you guys hunted down Z28s just to go Turbonator.
Engage.
Good Lord. Yeah. If anything, it messes up your airflow, actually.
Yeah, like it's an obstruction. Like the car it's not supposed to be there. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the whole back and forth, it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. To his credit though, at the time he did have I don't remember, I think it was a Pioneer, but he had like the CD player that had like all the pixelated like swimming dolphins on the face of it, and like there was F1 cars like jockeying for position.
Those might have been JVC. JVC.
It could have been.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Am I missing any?
Out. Yeah. Well, I kind of have a counter thing to what we're doing, like not adding but taking away, debadging. Ooh. I can't stand debadging. And you're going to say like maybe for a show car or something like special, but the base level cars just taking the badges off. Here's two things. When I look at a car, when I go to buy a car, debadging means two things. Someone was trying to pass it off as a higher trim model, usually the case. Or secondly, and this is the worst case, is it had body work done and those badges didn't get put back.
They didn't put it back on.
So that's the big issue. But debadging a car, I want to be honest, you don't debadge the M cars. You don't debadge the AMG cars, BMW, Mercedes owners. I know you. I know. I can look at your exhaust count.
You know how much you paid for that higher tier emblem, you know?
Yeah, I can see the wheels that you have, the size of your wheels. I can see a different bumper. You know, I just think it's hilarious. And the worst thing probably of this is in a lot of M badges anyway that don't belong there. That'll be a different one. But how about red Honda badges on anything that's not a Type R, Frank?
Yeah, interesting.
Can you find an SI without a red badge? You got to start looking really hard because they're everywhere.
Yeah, I suppose.
Now that I said it,
if it's just the red badge, but they don't add the Type R part, like
still no good. The red badge denotes the Type R.
I know, but what if it's like an Accord? What if you have like an Accord Sport? Not okay.
No,
not okay.
It's not a real Type R. Not a real Type R.
No, I know, but like if they never had a Type R, right? You're just like,
then history stands. They still don't have a Type R, no matter what color you make your badge.
I think fake badging, like putting your M badging or AMG badging on like a standard car, is complete. It's just silly. It's dumb. The only like nobody who will be capable of being fooled by it will care.
Well, here's a zinger. The OEMs are already doing it.
That's true. Yeah.
Gotcha.
M Sport, S line,
AMG,
whatever. Yeah, N line. Like there's all this. Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it to themselves. Like, yeah, like
no, the red badges, man, because that red badge is something special. So we should respect that. But now that you start looking at sports and SIs, you're gonna see it. Promise.
Oh, I will. I don't know. Straight up false badging. Yeah, I have a problem with that. I mean, false. Whatever. Like, it's just I don't have a problem with it. It's not like it offends me. It's just tacky. It's just like it's just a scene you kind of roll your eye like, yeah, okay, whatever. Debadging completely. I don't feel that strongly about because I can see somebody being like, oh, I think it looks cleaner without badging on it, right? Like similar to like legally it's supposed to have a front license plate, but like it looks better without a front license plate because
I don't think they do
whatever.
it for aesthetics. I think they're doing it because they got the base trim. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Probably. I mean, it could be.
Mostly.
What if you do get like the top trim? Like, let's say you have an M5 comp, but you debadge it like
That's what I'm saying. No one
for
does
stealth.
that.
I think that's kind of the big bag move is like you do that and you kind of like sneaking up on people. I
It's
suppose.
like kind of putting a badge on your car that says you have a turbinator, but you don't. So you
Ooh,
technically
that's
have more
true.
horsepower.
More than you can afford, pal. Tornado.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think. What if you do 2 tornadoes?
That's what. Yeah, that makes
Double
a time
tornado.
machine, I believe, dude.
That's F5 coming in.
You're gonna need the EMP deterrent.
That's true.
It's gonna
That's
trigger
true.
an EMP of epic proportions. Electromagnetic pulse, by the way.
The GIMP, the GIMP.
He's sleeping.
Exactly. Wake him up. Yeah, I don't know. Like debadging doesn't really burn me too bad. You know what? Actually, I mean, there's notable exceptions, but Ronald teddy bears being chief among them. I'm not a huge aftermarket wheel guy. I'm on some stuff where like the factory wheels are just unavailable or they suck, or
or you're doing
like
a performance. Your performance build and your car came with 14s, and you have to add more rubber because you added more power. I get that.
You know what? I don't want to go too far because like I don't want to go too far down that road specifically because there are a lot of like Panasports are dope. Like TEs, like there's a bunch of good wheels out there, Anki 92s that I would actually really like, but I think a lot of aftermarket wheels are just meh. You don't see anymore, and it kind of makes me just a teensy bit sad.
You're gonna say spinners.
When's the last time you saw some freaking spinners, dog? When?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Like, how sick would that be? Just roll up somewhere, something with spinners right now.
I don't think donk culture is alive and well. I think that's the problem.
Donk culture's changed. Like true donks, like straight up, like bubble glass, Impalas and stuff like that. They're fast now. Have you seen? There's dudes building donks that runs like 10s,
right?
On 28s. Like the engineering to do that and not have everything just explode is mind blowing. Like it's not my type of hype, but I actually respect the shit out of that.
All
like,
that technology to keep them from EMPing.
Yeah, you get a donk on that's like standing up on like 28-inch chrome tippy toes, and it just like somehow just drops trow and goes.
We should road trip an
Bananas.
extended distance. You can do donk, and I'll do stance, and we'll see who has the worst experience.
That's a good,
It's a good comparison, man.
I think because donks have been around longer, I think they've kind of they're kind of out of that trough of like hate, and they're kind of on the upswing a little bit, And I think the donk would garner more respect, especially some clown looking like me come stepping out of the car.
Neither of us should be driving any of these cars. Like I get out of a stance car and you're like, Jesus Christ, Grandpa, how's that treating your back?
But think about it. So like when I bet you can pull spinners off, because hear me out. When spinners were out, like 19s and 20s were like big ass wheels. Like that was a huge fitment. Now there's like stuff coming stock with like 21s and 22s and 23s.
Sure. Yeah.
So like you can have like it would just be like a totally reasonable wheel size now. I wonder if you can make like an OEM style design in that size, but with like spinnerage, spree wheels, like the OG spree wheel spinners.
Killing me.
We're bringing it back. Spinners.
Weren't they excessively heavy wheels? I believe was part of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's like bearings involved and stuff. Like there's like they're mechanized wheels. Like they have to.
Would you consider the modern Bentley wheel with spinner because the
the Rolls Royce? Yeah,
Rolls Royce. Sorry,
the floating center cap. It's spinner adjacent. Or did you ever see the ones that have like LEDs in them, and so like as you spin, like you can like, or as you're going down the freeway, they have like a speed sensor in it, and so you can project like, call me or like whatever, like into the
Those
face of
are
the wheel as you're driving.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think spinners. I think showing up someplace right now today with spinners. You would
But
still have to do it ironically, I think, but
I
it would
hope
still be.
so. Yeah. But something garish that you can still get from the dealership is the light up Mercedes Benz. It's always on like a base level, like a C
It's
class.
on a CLA
God, it's
250.
awful. That looks so bad. And you can only, when you get it straight on, is when you can see the Mercedes symbol. But if you're from any other viewing angle, it looks like just gibberish. It looks like a white kind of LED piece of crap on the hood. And it just, I don't know. It's so bad, dude. Like that's so trashy looking to me.
Well, I mean, talk about things that have come back. Like Underglow is back hard. Like I live right next to a high school. Let me tell you, Underglow is back, baby.
Nice.
Mostly on brodozers.
Okay.
I don't really see it on like, because it used to be back in the day, it would be your Stance Nation Civic or your slammed second gen Integra, stuff like that.
Right.
But they were actually like straight up like light bulbs. Like they'd break all rocks with chip and break them and stuff like that. But the age of LED has done kind things to the Underglow
Way
Nation.
easier. Yeah. Way
Yeah.
less electrical draw too, which is makes it way easier to plumb into your system. But dude, speaking of trucks, I got a lot of truck hate going on here because like I love trucks. I know a lot of trucks don't actually get used like trucks, but man, what is this trend of having your tires offset by a ton instead of getting wider tires and then running those grippy car tread low profile tires that don't actually function like off-road tires? What is, I know they're cheaper. I guess that's it. And it looks kind of like an off-road tire. Explain to me.
So like that whole
So bad.
like
It's so gross.
maybe my absolute least favorite like style of vehicle right now, straight up, is like
I can't take it.
the mall crawler look with like the huge deep dish chrome wheels with the ridiculous offset that are like 18 inches out of the wheel well sticking out, with like the low profile
Like 45s with off-road tread.
Yeah, exactly, like a 45 with off-road tread, except they bought them when they bought the wheels, and God forbid they actually either rotate or do an alignment after all that, or put any money into this disaster of a truck that they've got a freaking signature loan on for 18.8%.
Yeah.
And they got their creepy uncle to sign on as a co-signer, and now they're just cruising around in it, and yeah, it's like worn. The tires are just, they were knobbies, but they're just worn down to nothing.
But the thing about off-road tires are all dependent on the sidewall, right? The forgiving nature of a sidewall. That's where you get your actual tread. Yeah. Just having the tread pattern is very useful, but it needs to compress on the rubber. And it's like, there's nothing to compress on a 45 series tire. So it's like that.
Well, there's no stress. There's no stress on it because those trucks aren't taller, and the leverage points on them are moved out because of the super ridiculous offset. And
they're always on the highway, and that half that tire's in your lane because they don't know how to keep in lane. It's
that, and they never got the alignment redone after the lift kit or anything like that. So it's like crab walking down the thrust angle's like way off. So it's just crab walking like down two lanes, and they're
gross.
They're bumping some like new modern pop country that's like completely insufferable. Get off my lawn, damn it! Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep. That's a gross one.
I feel like we can keep going on this. I don't know. I don't know if we should. I'm not convinced that we should. Unless we want to. I don't know. I don't have any turbo encabulator stories or any other fun accessories. Although I don't know. I would like to. Now I want to like go down a YouTube rabbit hole and just see people like testing some of these and just.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, some of it's kind of fun. I know. Like Donut did a thing where they tested a bunch of cheap stuff you can buy on like Amazon and eBay, and that's kind of fun to watch to see if it actually works. And it really doesn't. I
will say, like, every time I see somebody with like the $400 like made in China eBay turbo kit bolted to something, that almost always works. Like anytime I see a video with one of those, it's like, oh my God, it actually, now I don't know how long it works.
Back in the day, they didn't though. I remember when those first started appearing and folks were like, fuck, it's 16G for my 4G63. I'm going to get it. And they'd hook it up.
Dangerous power. You're like,
yeah, they'd
tight.
hook it up, and the wastegate would just be like, either you're getting like 30 pounds of boost or you're getting like 5 pounds. You just don't know what you're going to get. And then it's like just blows out in a year, like you said, if you're lucky. So yeah,
pretty much.
It's crazy. It's just, but it's funny, like you said, though, these things have been around forever and they're going to continue to be around, these gimmicks, these snake oil products. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see it.
Yeah. Like, I wonder, like, there's got to be something that hasn't been tackled yet. Right? Like, should we just invent the next whatever? Like, we can get ahead of this. What problem can we solve with snake oil that hasn't been addressed yet? Everyone always says fuel economy. I mean, EMP pulse is a thing. Space lasers. Can we somehow, like a special coating that you put on your roof to protect yourself against space lasers?
Well, I mean, things you should be aware of. Usually they do come hand in hand with EMP blasts, so just double up is what I'd advise.
Yeah, exactly. Get them.
Dude,
get them both. We can offer a 2-for-1 special.
My like no BS like solution for all this stuff, these people that are scared of things like that happening, is just buy ammunition like I do. That's all you gotta do.
That, or you can just buy booze, and if like stuff gets really sideways, just drink the pain away. I mean, that's probably what I would do. I'm more of a pacifist, and I would pacify myself into cirrhosis. Speaking of cirrhosis, I don't know. That's not a really good.
We're gonna get quizzical.
Segue, I don't think. Yeah, I think you need to try and embarrass me publicly, and personally.
Oh, we've been doing pretty good lately, though, man. We've been doing.
I know that means this pendulum is. Are you familiar with dew theory?
Yeah. Wait, time out. This pendulum. As soon as you said that, I thought of truck nuts swinging to and fro.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this is, and now we've gone too far to left nuts territory, and now we're suddenly coming back down to right nut territory.
I like it.
It's a whole different bag, baby.
Well, you want to bring our folks back up to speed on what we are about to do?
I would love to, sir. So this wealth of embarrassment that will be bestowed upon me here shortly by Chadwick is what we call our print ad quiz show, because we are not very inventive with names. Chadwick here is going to find a print advertisement for a car from the 80s, the 90s, up to, say about the mid-2000s, from an OEM manufacturer. He's going to read the type copy from said advertisement. It will then be incumbent upon me to guess within 3 guesses or less what we are talking about, make, model, hopefully close-ish to the year. He'll redact out some overly identifying bits and pieces, and I get 10 minutes, 3 guesses. I can ask for hints in between them should I need them, but I won't. Chadwick, I'm ready if you are.
Oh, I'm totally ready. So our ad, it's a single pager. Vehicle is right in pretty much the center there. Huge tagline above, huge tagline below, and then some details. Side profile of the vehicle.
Okay.
We still don't think it's a sports car, but if you insist.
Okay.
No matter what the car experts say, the blank, blank, blank simply wasn't designed to be a sports car. However, it does have the basic performance features of one, such as 4-wheel independent suspension, rack and pinion steering, and steel-belted radial tires.
Ooh.
The blank is certainly fun to drive with a peppy 1,488cc engine to keep things lively. Front disc and rear drum brakes bring everything to a stop. They're power assisted and self-adjusting too.
They're self-adjusting.
Self-adjusting. I hope so. Every time you stop, you better get out and get a friggin' brake job done or you're screwed. There's front wheel drive for better traction and a smooth 5-speed transmission. There are also aerodynamic improvements. They never had details after that statement, which helped the blank pass its mileage test with flying colors. EPA estimated 35 miles per gallon and 46 highway. Use 35 mile per gallon for comparison. Actual highway mileage will probably be less. This is in the ad.
Wow.
Your mileage may vary because of the weather, speed, or trip length. California figures will only be 1 mile per gallon lower because We are horrible. The interior does nothing to deny a sporty image either. Instruments include a tachometer or tachometer or tachometer
Taco meter. Let's
and
go.
quartz digital cock. And I meant to say cock. There are reclining
Is that
front.
actually what it says?
No,
Oh man,
it's my
Like,
reading. But it's, you know,
hey,
you are what you
when
eat.
in Rome.
You are what you eat. And bucket seats and a 4-spoke steering wheel. That part's really important. And this part's interesting. And a remote control outside rear view mirror.
Ooh, just one though. Okay.
Is the blank a sports car? There's only one way to settle this, and it isn't here. Frank, 10 minutes on the clock. What are we talking about? Go.
So this reads to me like a 1980s Honda ad. Front wheel drive, independent suspension, blank, blank, blank. Could it be Honda Civic SI, blank, blank, blank? Maybe. I don't know if, I don't know, because the SI, the first years I think were the 1600, but maybe 1500. I know there was a 1500S. And I don't know at when, because I know some of those were dead axle. I don't think there was ever a 1500 and an Accord. I mean, stuff like, if you're talking self-adjusting brakes and steel belted radials, those are like 70s things. And so having to talk about how these are features, that's not something you would do in the 90s traditionally.
5-speed manual.
5-speed, yeah, but and Honda had 5 speeds for quite some time. I mean, they had 5 speeds in the late 70s in the Accords and stuff. And optional on the Civics. A lot of the Civics were still 4 speeds. I'm going. There was no door count, was there?
I don't believe there
No.
was.
Okay. Rear drums, front discs, that tracks. I'm gonna say this is a 1986 Honda Civic SI. Final answer.
You've got how do I say this? You got the make and the model.
Okay, I don't have the trim.
Yeah, I don't think there was an SI until the EF generation here in the States. So that would have been a bit later in the game than this car.
Then this car, my guess, or both, supposedly.
You're right.
So is it the S? Is it the S? Is it the 1500S?
Got to go back further, baby. Even older. This is a 1982 Honda Civic.
Honda Civic 1500S?
GL.
GL. Okay. When did they call them? When did they bring in? Oh, because 82.
This was the old school. This was like nearing the end.
That's the end. That's the end of the OG Civic. And then in 80, was it 83? We got the second gen, and that's when you had the 1500S.
I want to say 84 on that one, my friend.
84. Okay.
Yeah, because 82, maybe 82, 83, I thought were the last of the old school.
You might be right.
So this is more. This is more of the not quite boxy yet, but the 2-door, very small, old school kind of Civic. A lot like an old Ford Escort. But yeah, you got it, my friend. The trim is tricky. We didn't get the SI to the EF like the later 80s.
I thought starting, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like 88, because I thought in 86 was the first year of the SI, but I might be off on that. I really got to bone up on my 80s Hondas because I like them. I was so much more focused on Toyota stuff in that era.
Right.
That that's where like my knowledge really is. But it's not because I don't like the Honda stuff.
We were shooting each other.
It was a very different deal.
Back and forth that one on Marketplace, and they look awesome. They've aged very well. I think they're very reminiscent, especially the side profile of this period. And I can flash my laptop to you.
Oh, dangerous. Yeah, look at that. Dude. Look at that. Looks good.
It's a very GTI-ish from the side profile, actually, and it's clear that's what they were gunning for.
Yeah, I wonder. I'd be really curious to, and that reminds me, I need to I need to message friend of the pod, David Graham. He was a guest quite some time ago here with us. And I want to say he came across like and I think he still has it. He was going to sell it on Bring a Trailer, but they ended up rejecting it. But he had like, I want to say like a 50-year, almost 40-year collection of, I want to say Car and Driver, that he bought. He got off of like Facebook Marketplace for like $50. And I would really want to sit down with that collection and go through a bunch of stuff and see like what would a comparison test of that era of like something like that, those early GTIs, Corolla Coupe, maybe even that would be a little bit different though. Those were still rear-wheel drive then.
So one of my favorite things is Motor Week Retro, which is like my favorite thing to watch. They do some really good episodes, and they bring them back. And like John Davis has been doing this since the early 80s. And it's cool because they do those. They do the Econobox like challenges and all kinds of things where they do take those cars and they do various competitions like around a track, and then like just economical driving, or just the ergonomics of what it's like to get in and out and live with this vehicle. It's cool watching that stuff in period, because now it's just pure reminiscent and think back value. But to see them do that again, and they upgraded them all to HD, it's really just super fun. That's like one of my guilty pleasures. And there's some in there. I think the Civic does. This one might not have been very sporty, even though like what were we dealing with?
The ad tried.
Well, the early 80s, dude, we were dealing with turds, so it's cool. I wanted to bring that up. I don't think we've gone that far back on Hondas yet. So super early 80s, kind of almost at the threshold of what's viable for our quiz game.
Yeah, but like it tracks like the speak of like steel belted radials. It's like, okay, like this
is wheel independent suspension with a 5-speed manual and an Econobox. That's
I know front
awesome.
discs.
That's stellar, dude. That's really stellar,
baby. Yeah. No, it's cool. They were probably even ventilated discs.
Easy now.
I know. Look out, world. So very cool. Yeah, that was fun. Speaking of fun, what you got cooking in the garage lately, sir? You have any PCP to ingest and to imbibe?
Yes, I've been cooking PCP and doing Project Car Progress in the garage. So
perfect.
Surprise. It's been focused on that shiny red Japanese gem behind me. That is my Isuzu Trooper, 1988 vintage, if you will.
Vintage J10.
Complete interior restoration, my friend. So installed carpet. Truck didn't have any carpet. Pretty cheap carpet from the factory, tends to wear down over 30 years. And being a cheap truck, getting used like a cheap truck. Put a new steering wheel in. The other one was cut and just falling apart. All the seats, I stitched them up by hand, so there's no more tears. There's no more, how can I say this? I mean, I didn't make it too nice in there, but it's better than it was. I mean, you can see
no longer falling apart.
Yeah, foam chunks aren't flying in your eyes when you're driving. All the gauge clusters and dome lights actually work when you open up the doors. The dome light comes on. The rear hatch door opening, when you open that, the light comes on. All the gauges illuminate. I put new bulbs in. I didn't go LED, kept old school incandescent regular bulbs. I switched to orange because the green just didn't look right in there. It looked like abysmal because they're small bulbs. But the orange makes it look super cool. Very much matches like the spirit of the truck. What else did I do? All kinds of stupid stuff. Didn't have a headlight switch thing. I just pulled on like a metal stock to get the lights to come on.
Nubbin,
yeah. So when I put the stock, I fitted one from a golf cart headlight switch, and I drilled it out and made it custom fit. And you can turn it, and it's actually a dimmer, which I didn't think the truck had. So I can actually, so 2 fixes in one. Repaired the door handle that was hanging off and wrapped in medical tape. Removed the stereo and all the speakers, and did a full steam cleaning. And it's freaking awesome. It's looking like a $2,500 truck now, not a $2,000 truck. So things are really coming together. But that's been my PCP, and that is a lot of work. That carpet was. Dude, it's not custom fit. It comes in 3 pieces. I had to cut out around the seats, and the shifter for the gearbox. Yeah, well, there's nothing. The shifter comes out of the floor, so you have to cut the carpet perfect, or it's gonna look like shit, right?
Is there just like one little like trim ring bezel that goes in and like holds the boot down?
Nothing. The boot has to be fitted, squeezed through the carpet, and there's a bottom kind of rubber part that separates. It's a nightmare. You have to cut it perfect. And carpets don't lay flat. There's nothing flat in the inside of a truck interior. So that took a while, but that's all I did. How about you, my friend? Yeah, that's
Oh
it.
boy.
Did you do any wrench turning, my friend?
Well, I did very little, but what I did get
Oh,
is I got photos, my friend. I got
oh,
photos from my homie working on the Barracuda, where most of the time it had not been working on. It just been sitting, kind of collecting dust in the back of his shop, which is fine by me. I don't have room for it here anyway, so
right.
it's inexpensive storage. Um, Out of the blue, he sent me some photos of it painted, like it's painted. It's finally painted.
You
It has,
pretty.
yeah, and it looks good. It's the original. They call it medium red poly, which is like a Spanish red. Think like a Porsche Sienna red,
Mm,
or almost like it was like a Toyota, like a modern Toyota red that they've had for a very long time,
mm,
which is called, I think it might be Barcelona red. Either way, it's like a medium red metallic with like a tiny, like 5% towards maroon, but mostly still red.
okay.
Um, and that's what it is. So all the glass is out, the doors are off, it's all painted and jammed, and it looks damn good.
Yeah, it looked
So
pretty. You sent me a photo and it's pretty sexy, not gonna lie.
yeah, so it should be really cool. He was like, yeah, I hope to have it up and running and ready to go. End of the month,
Mm.
which good news. I have another car to find a home for. So, um, yeah, what you see me behind me in the feed with the 924 turbo and the little Honda and stuff like that. I need to A, get a lift. I just need to do it. B, I need to get rid of several things. Um, yeah, so that'll be a job for another day. But for now, that's really all my progress, which is kind of big. It's kind of, that car I haven't seen that car physically in a half of a decade. So like,
Wow. Yeah.
um, yeah, kind of big news. So we'll see. There's still plenty to do, and who knows? It's been sitting that long, waiting for body work. There could be a host of new issues that immediately crop up. So,
Sitting
we'll
is
see.
good for cars. We
That's
we know
great
that.
for him.
We know
So,
that.
I mean, it's pretty basic car, but you never know. Yeah, so that should be really exciting. And yeah, that's all I have been up to. Do you have any parting words, good sir?
No, just in general, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you hanging out with us and taking in this wonderful car knowledge that we do not share because we don't
No,
have it. We don't have the knowledge to share. But
no,
we
no.
do
It's
appreciate it. We do appreciate your time, which is very valuable. And we have a good time with you guys, and we hope you're having a good time with us. But feel free, review us, rate us. We like the feedback. We enjoy it. If you have any questions, definitely send them in. Comment on the feeds. You can follow us anywhere you listen to your podcast, obviously. Also follow the video version on YouTube at APA
yeah,
Podcast, another pointless automotive podcast.
that's
Uh,
it.
we love it, guys, and we love
We
doing
do.
this. And we look forward to the next one. Frank has his own amazing stuff. He does some of the best photography you will ever see. Usually
Oh,
automotive
stop,
themed,
stop.
really
Yeah,
good stuff.
sometimes, I don't know. This is not the right forum to talk about
Red butt
fur,
cheeks.
fur. Well, I was gonna say furries, but
Okay, close enough.
the the
They're not mutually exclusive. So I mean,
exactly, and it's really just lifting a tail. Let's be real.
mm,
The Yeah, you can find all that nonsense at on my Instagram image for the most part. That's going to be the photographer's garage. Occasionally some stuff on the YouTubes, and don't forget our Instagram. That's at APA Podcast. We rarely post things, but you can communicate with us there. If you have some god awful, terrible topic you would like us
please do.
to discuss in an open forum, please hit us up there. Let us know. We will maybe begrudgingly grant that request and talk about your nonsense. And until then, thanks for still doing this with us. We look forward to not seeing you, but seeing you here for the next one. So until then, good day.
Oh, and you want to see my stuff too? Maybe I don't know.
Maybe. I
Thanks,
mean,
Frank.
no, but yeah. What are you up to? Chat to the
Just
wick.
Suzu Trooper shit. If you're into watching old crappy cars be rescued, restored, and possibly reviewed if they make it that far in the lifeline, Auto Obsessive Garage, mostly on YouTube, sometimes on the Instagram. And yeah, that's actually, you brought up a good point, man. If you guys want to have episode ideas for us and shoot them on our Instagram, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We will not we're going to say no to anything, but we will entertain just about anything. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And cue the like tell us more about these furries episode. Full disclosure, I barely know what a furry is. I'm not into them. So no, please don't come with the furry episode.
Sounds like a furry to me to
asks.
talk like that, Frank. But anyway,
I know, right? People are like, is that an animal on your shirt right now? Come
I don't
on,
even
man.
know what a furry is. I mean, I'm not totally aroused by the concept of someone wearing an animal costume.
Yeah. So on that wholesome, family-friendly note, have
Take
a
care.
wonderful day, evening, afternoon. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye, guys.